But it was when the Illuminati first started coming after him. And I'll never forget the day when they breached the house.
How about date your age. Well, I want to date my wage. I'm finna shut all this ish down tonight. I want to date my wage.
Stay right there.
Where y'all at? Hey, chat, where they at?
Hold on. Cause you know I keep it on me now.
Yeah.
I keep it on me. You want to date your what?
I want to date my wage.
When Cat Williams warned Shannon Sharpe that people would start vying for him due to their notorious interview, he should have heeded his warning. They have been going after him hard lately, honey. Rumor has it that they are attempting to make him the next Diddy. Jaguar Wright even made an appearance and explained to us how they want to remove Shannon. We can safely conclude that Shay Shay is finished. According to reports, they were motivated to destroy him because he was preparing to interview Jaguar Wright just before all of this chaos. Ever since Gabriella sued him, he has already lost hundreds of millions of dollars. However, new victims, including Michelle, his ex-girlfriend of 10 years, who just gave a detailed interview, are coming forward to accuse him of even more heinous crimes. Since his truth-telling podcast threatened them all, they have already begun a massive media campaign, and nobody will save him. In fact, Michelle's case was filed in 2023, a long time before Gabriella's. However, it was brought up again this year when Shannon was being hauled around for his problem with Gabriella. Michelle says she had been having an affair with Shannon for nearly 10 years before he proposed to her in 2010. She said that the essay was written during a furious dispute between her and him over his infidelity. She and Shannon began having affairs while she was still married, but he insisted that she divorce her husband because he did not want to share her with another man. She did, of course, but after divorcing her husband, she discovered Shannon had been unfaithful to her all along with other women. She then proceeded to his residence to confront him. Although they had previously argued, it had primarily taken place on the phone. They did it in person this time, and Shannon took advantage of the situation to do various things to her that she did not agree to. Despite her physical reluctance, he pushed her to her knees and pressed his manhood into her mouth. She claimed that despite her vocal protest that she did not want to do it, he nevertheless pushed it into her mouth and took joy in it. According to the lawsuit, Shannon coerced her onto the bed and delivered a terrifying message while engaging in non-consensual sexual activity. He told me he was going to make it so no other man would want me. Michelle stated she attempted to report him to the police after this horrible event, but he threatened her and her family and even brought his henchmen to her house a few times to frighten her. He said he would ruin my life. He threatened to ruin me by using everyone he knew. One of the doors to my basement flat led directly to the sidewalk. Someone knocked on my home one evening and told me to shut up F and B. I had a child living in that house, so I immediately revoked the restraining order. I could not possibly risk it.
Press room at the Broncos, April of 2002. And but we didn't start talking until we met up at a club at Blue 67 in Denver. I don't know if anyone is listening from Denver, but yeah, we were at a club at the same time. We didn't go together. We just happened to both be there. And so he started talking to me and he started pursuing me pretty heavily from then on. I resisted for a while because, you know, I was a reporter and I didn't want to mix the two. But he's very charming. And we dated until the 2010 incident. And then it came to an abrupt end because I wanted, you know, we were arguing and he was threatening me and stuff like that after, but I didn't see him again after he raped me. The argument was about the fact that he had removed one girl from his house and put another girl in his house and didn't tell me. And he had asked me to break up with my husband at the time. We were just dating, so I was dating Shannon and my husband at the same time. Shannon asked me to break up with my husband, and I don't recall for sure, but I think I did. And so, you know, it's like, wait a minute, you want me to be with just you, but you want to move somebody into your house and not even tell me? So that's what it stemmed from. He's not a faithful person, so I wasn't going to be faithful to a non-faithful person. It just doesn't work that way, not for me anyway. It was fighting, and usually we fought on the phone and not in person. So it was the biggest argument that we ever got in. And he was controlling, he was domineering, he was manhandling me beforehand, and he wanted to have sex, and I told him no. I told him no, because you gave it to somebody else. I didn't only tell him no, I told him why. And he wouldn't take no for an answer. So he overpowered me, put me to my knees, put his penis in my mouth. And after he got enough of that, he put me on the bed. And, this was all a struggle. So I had said no. And I said no, even though I was thinking that. And so it was the hardest. Yeah, this is too hard. I remember he got dressed and he knew what he did. And so, I just kind of escorted him out the door. And then I wasn't going to do anything about it. Sometimes when you're with the person for a long time, it's hard for you to realize that they're being the perpetrator, even though you know it, you don't want to admit it, and there's so much going through your mind. But then he started coming at me. If I tell anybody, he'll use everybody he knows to destroy me, which he basically has. And then he started making other threats against my life.
As all of this was going on, Jaguar Wright entered the conversation and explained in full what was actually happening and why the industry was now pursuing Shannon. As everyone knows, Shannon's interview with Kat infuriated many executives. To exacerbate the situation, he conducted another interview with Monique, and as is customary, she did not hold back from disparaging Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. Even in his interview with Kat, he made it clear that the industry would target him once their conversation was broadcast, and that employing a white woman was one of the ways they would attempt to do so. Shannon continued to play with them, and even boasted about his love for young white ladies. Thus, it is safe to assume that he did not pay attention. And because he claimed to like a young white woman, they made notes and attacked him.
Get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan
There
Majors.
you go. Come on, Cat.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit down in 2 weekends. And that's the truth of the matter, so I stayed away from that.
Remember when I did Cam? I remember getting up and I turned back and I look at my Cat, and I look at my producer and he's shaking his head. I'm like, oh man, we done messed up. So I'm like, what did I say?
Yeah.
Did I say something? Did he? He like, this is gonna be the talk of 24.
No way.
I'm like, you think so? He's like, shit. And he's looking at me just like I'm looking at you, Cam. He's like, shit. This is gonna be viral for the whole year. I said, come on, man. I said, so I'm thinking at that point in time, Steve Harvey is my is my most viewed podcast. He's at 8 million. I said, you think we're gonna beat Steve? He's like, yeah. I'm hoping for 10 million.
Yeah.
That's all, Cam, if I get 10 million, I'm like, that's a pretty good interview.
Yeah.
Think about how few people that's in this space that interview people that don't get 10 million. So if I get 10 million, that's one of the biggest podcasts. Now, that's not Joe Rogan's numbers, but that's pretty good for an up-and-coming podcast. So I felt good. Man. But here's the thing I tell people, if I'd have had Cat mic'd up from the time he got out of the truck until the time he sat down, it'd have done 100 million. Oh, he was on it. And I just like damn. Cause I went back and I'm like, damn, he said that? Where was I? He was saying so much that I'm like, but Kim, I didn't know it was gonna cause this kind of ripple. I didn't think it was gonna move me in the direction. I'm glad it did. I understand what comes along with that. But if you remember, he said it. He said, this is gonna put you in another dimension.
He definitely did.
He said,
but my mama said, boy, there's power in the tongue.
yes. He says, he told me, and my guy Jordan is over there, he said, now they're gonna come for you. I said, can't come for me for what? I didn't say anything.
Right.
He said, they're gonna come. And they're gonna say a lot of different things. And they're gonna be some people that you thought you might be able to get, that they're not gonna come now.
Right.
And that's absolutely has happened. That's absolutely has happened. They were so excited. Thanks for reaching out. We can't wait to sit down. And a day later, they can't do it. And then no call, they won't follow. So for the song.
Shannon was reportedly preparing for an interview with Jaguar Wright that would take place in a few weeks. However, the lawsuit concerning Gabriella surfaced as soon as word spread throughout the industry that he was going to do this interview. And now, others are questioning whether the Jaguar interview is the reason he is being singled out. However, because Shannon is entangled in this situation, the interview is no longer taking place. Jaguar is not being kind to him either, as she recently criticized him in an interview for harming himself and said that there were others attempting to remove him. Given that the 20-year-old girl is young enough to be his daughter, Jaguar claimed Shannon had no business being involved with her in the first place. She also criticized him for hanging around with certain dubious industry figures, claiming that these are the same ones who are abusing him behind the scenes.
You know, a lot of people were angry at Shannon Sharpe after his Cat Williams 2024 God Ain't Playing With Y'all interview. A lot of people were angry with him. Matter of fact, there's a lot more people who reached out to him after Cat, who he turned away because he couldn't take the heat. Is everyone forgetting that? And Kat warned him, they're gonna come for you. Monique came after that, told him, they about to get you. You better watch who you kicking it with. She told him the kindest, most polite way possible. And then all of a sudden, he's accidentally going on Instagram, setting up whole corn lives. Humiliation ritual, down to the floor. But why is nobody paying attention to? They're talking about money. 10 million offered to be quiet. She asked for 25,000 for the SCX. He wants 100 million for defamation and whoopty-whoopty-woo and all of this. Why is nobody talking about the simple fact that this is a man that's pushing 60 who's messing with a girl that's barely old enough to drink?
Yeah.
Let's stay there.
Let's stay there.
Because everybody skipped over that. Who's a child? This man has children older than this girl. Am I lying?
No, you're not lying.
And his daughters are 32, son is 30.
And he keeps getting online. And somebody want to apologize to my family. No, you don't. Because stop. You got busted out. You did whatever you did on Instagram. And is everyone forgetting that he was just recently tied to the whole bride and with Casanat and Skip Bayless? Is everybody forgetting that just happened just a couple months ago? OnlyFans? You're negotiating $150 million big deal for your podcast outlets and all of that, which, by the way, was all set up for you by the NFL. Oh, I'm sorry. Who does Sean Carter work for?
The puzzle is puzzling.
No, last time I checked, Mr. Carter works for the NFL. And he was the one that got real smart Black Americans who were boycotting the NFL to stop giving the NFL their money. He was able to make all of that happen. I think we're past bending a knee. And then all of a sudden, Black people giving their money back to the NFL again? Those blackouts were for real, and it was costing the NFL millions.
Furthermore, it is unclear exactly where Jaguar obtained all of this tea. However, many people find that what she is saying makes sense. Shannon was also hauled along for the ride. As Shannon has also been the target for some time, some claim they were not shocked that Jaguar had the courage to come up and admit that they were attempting to eliminate her. She also disclosed that they attempted to unalive Cat Williams to Jaguar, claiming that she and Cat have been close for a number of years, and that Cat gave her the confidence to come up about what she knows about Hollywood.
When he walked into the club, and I was sitting at my table, it's my birthday party, and Special Ed brought him. And he wanted to meet me, and he came to my party, gave me about 20 grand in cash, and said, consider it a down payment on your time. He taught me so much in 9 months. Walking away was hard, but it was when the Illuminati first started coming after him.
Someone said this dude survived being a top NFL player just to retire and get caught up with someone who was 19 when they started messing around. He just threw away a $100 million deal that could have set him and his family up for generations. Generations. A black man in America fumbled multi-generational wealth. How can he be so MFKG dumb? Shaking my head. Another person said, I agree with Jag that a man over 60 should not even think about anything under 30. The brain isn't even fully developed till 25 people keep accepting this as the norm. It's not preying behavior. Now though, I would want to hear your opinions. How do you feel about Jaguar revealing that Shannon's life was in jeopardy? And do you guys really think Shannon's story is over? Please share your opinions in the space provided for comments below. Remember to watch this other dirty video by clicking here.